profession of work or job recognizes by Islam. Recognized by Islam. And then number four, this is about the haram. And the first three are the halal part of our topic. And then number four is the haram, the prohibited part, which are professions condemned by Islam. Profession condemned by Islam. Okay, we go for the first one. The dignity of work in Islam. To start our session tonight, I would like to share with you a story. We call it the story of the magical axe. Melayu panggil kapak hikmat. Kapak hikmat. This is a story, part of the story from the story of our Holy Prophet with one companion. Okay, a man of the Ansar tribe, a man from the Ansar tribe, the original people of Medina came to Rasulullah and begging him for charity. He asked, "Have you nothing?" He kept begging Rasulullah to give him something. And then Rasulullah replied back to him, "Have you nothing in your house?" And then he said, "Hey, I have a piece of cloth, a part of which we wear, and part of which we spread on the ground to become on the ground to put food, to eat, something like that. And then I also have a wooden bowl from which we drink water." Okay, this hadith somehow shows that this man is a very poor man, And then because of that, Rasulullah wanted to teach him and the rest of the companions something. And he said, "Bring them to me." To make it short, he then brought this object to him, and Rasulullah started to ask people, "Any one of you who want to buy this?" And then one person, one Sahaba said, "Okay, I shall buy them with 2 dirhams." And then Rasulullah then sent the cloth and the wooden bowl to that man. And then he said to these people, this Ansar, "Okay, using this 2 dirham, buy food with one of them and hand it over to your family. And then for another dirham, buy me an axe. And then after that, bring it to me." And then he brought the axe to Rasulullah, and then fixed a handle of the axe with his 2 hands using the ropes. And then Rasulullah said, Go, and I do not want to see you for 2 weeks. Go, gather firewood and sell it. I do not want to see you unless after 2 weeks. There was a period, a logical period of time for some people, for a man to find his livelihood or sustenance. And then the man went away and gathered firewood and sold it, and then he earned 10 dirhams because of his job. And then he came to Rasulullah and bought a garment with some of them and food with the others. And then Rasulullah then said, teaching the rest of the Sahaba, Rasulullah said, "This is better for you than the begging. This is better for you than that begging should come past a spot on your face on the day of judgment." Why? Because to show that you are a shameless person. Shameless person because you keep begging without working. This is better for you. Begging is right only for 3 people. Begging is only allowed for 3 kind of people. The first one who is grinding poverty, because he is weak or sick, cannot do a proper job, then he or she is allowed to beg. And then number 2, one who is seriously in debt. And then number 3, one who is responsible for compensation and find it difficult to pay. Only these 3 items, these 3 conditions that begging is allowed. But for you, my friend, for you, my brother, you shouldn't be begging. So look into this story. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a very wise and intelligent leader, because instead of giving him fishes, Rasulullah gave the man the fishing rod. So when we ask ourselves which one is Islamic, yes, we are encouraged to give charity, to help the poor, the needy. But in the meantime, you also need to educate the poor. You need to educate the poor to to find his own livelihood, not begging people all the time. So that is why uh, I have a few friends working in zakat, in zakat, and then the zakat selama zakat anybody in any bodies in relation to zakat, they are practicing this concept. Do not only give them fish, but give them fishing rod and teach them how to fish. So that one day they are not only accepting zakat, but they are paying zakat. Because that is Islam. Islam is about. Why? Because if you open the Mus'haf, most of the ayah about zakat, Allah says, وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةِ. You pay zakat, do not accept the zakat. Allah somehow put those who pay zakah at the highest level. At the highest level. Because in the Holy Quran, Allah asks you, pay zakah, not accept zakat. In order to pay zakat, you have to get out of your poverty circle. You have to go to work. Find a good livelihood. Okay. Dignity of work in Islam. Okay, this is our main topic, the first topic. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam reminded us. Rasulullah said, it is better than a person should take a rope and bring a bundle of wood on his back to sell so that Allah may preserve his honor by working, not begging people. Then it is better for him then that he should beg from people regardless of whether they give to him or refuse him. But when you beg for people, somehow you put yourself under you put yourself under, and somehow you degrade yourself. So that is why it is important for you to work, go to work. Okay, and then the obligation to work if one is able. Okay, I deliberately or intentionally placed this picture on the screen because to show that even though this man is on his wheelchair, but he is working. So it is really a shameful. You should be embarrassed if you are healthy, but you are not working, asking people to help you or to assist you. Okay. Right, Becky. This is the new. This is the modern beggar. No longer asking for money, but for digital money. He even has with him the debit terminal, or right now QR code maybe. Allah Alam. And then also say a person keeps on begging until he meets Allah on the day of resurrection with no flesh on his face. That somehow signifies the dignity. He lost his dignity. Tak ada muka, malu. Okay. And then in this ayah in Surah Al-Mulk, Allah said, هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا. And he is the one who smooth out the earth for you to travel, to live, to work, to get all the bounties from Allah. فَكُلُوا فَامْشُوا فِي مَنَاكِبَهَا. So move about in its region. And وَكُلُوا مِنْ رِزْقِ, and eat from his provisions, or from the sustenance provided by Allah to us in this world through various profession and works or jobs. Okay. And then another ayah, this one. Some people say that if you keep repeating or reciting this ayah, you can be rich. I don't know. But for me, this ayah is about science, the science of livelihood, the science of provision, or the science of sustenance. Because Allah said, وَلَقَدْ مَكَّنَّاكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ, and we have indeed established you on earth. وَجَعَلْنَا لَكُمْ فِيهَا مَعَايِشْ, and provided you with a means of livelihood. Meaning by that, you are put by Allah in this world not only to live here, but to make your own way of life. Or Allah provides you with a means of livelihood. For example, if you are learning about halal, halal can be your livelihood in the future. For example, you establish a group of halal certification, next level of halal certification, at the highest level of certification, and then you provide that, you promote that to people. People are convinced with your new standard of halal, and because of that, you become rich because you create the system which is good for people. Anything. For example, I have my friend, this man, actually from the same school. when I was in secondary school. Actually, he comes from a very poor family, but he had a lot of ideas. He went to Jordan. He continued his study in Jordan, and then when he was in Jordan, he became a tourist guide for one rich person from Malaysia, and then that particular person was in the business, printing business, and then before parting from each other during the trip, that rich person told my friend, "Oh, Hayat, when you come, if you finish your study, come back, find me." And then he happened to work with that person in printing business. And then he is not only working, but he had a vision. Someday I will be rich like this man. I want to do the same business in printing. And then after a few years working with that man, he gained, my friend, my particular friend, my friend gained a lot of experience, knowledge about printing business. And then after that, he started his own printing business. And Alhamdulillah, he is now a millionaire. So Allah put you in this world, not only put in that without any means. You have to use your knowledge and then find your means of livelihood in this world. And you have to be creative. So that's why this ayah somehow encourages us to discover our livelihood. We can do anything. It's up to you. Think, learn, and make your own product and become rich and help people. Pay zakah, give more sadaqah. You have to think towards the future, not right now. Okay? And then when you are talking about working or profession, okay, this is the word of a woman. This is the word of the wife of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. When you open up Surah Al-Qasas, there was a story. Prophet Musa alayhi salam somehow was a refugee. He was being hunted by Fir'aun and his people after he undeliberately or unintentionally punch or kill the Kiptis, the Coptic of Egypt, kill him by punching him undeliberately or unintentionally. Because of that, he was hunted, and then he ran away. Prophet Musa alayhi salam ran away until Egypt, until Madian. He reached Madian, and in Madian, he somehow assisted this woman. And then after that, this woman proposed or suggested to his father, "Oh father, hire him. Istajirhu." Why? Because in the khayra man istajarta al-qawiyyun amin, a strong and trustworthy person is definitely the best to hire. Because I saw this quality, these two qualities in Musa alayhi salam. He is strong, and then he can deliver the job properly, and then he is very trustworthy, a trustworthy person. And then this ayah somehow been used by our scholars to describe or to describe about a trustworthy, a good worker, or even a good leader in next coming election. For example, if you are confused which one to elect, this one or this leader, so you can use this ayah as a parameter, a standard for you to vote for the leader. Because in this ayah, Allah say, Al-Qawi, the one who's strong, who can deliver, not only working, not only talking about doing job, but nothing. And then Al-Amin, trustworthy person. Because this ayah somehow tells us if you want to be a good quality worker, so you have to possess these two qualities. You must be very strong, meaning by that you can deliver on time the job. And then you must be very trustworthy. Because if you are trustworthy, people, your employer will love you, to keep you and give you trust. And because of that, maybe you will be upgraded in your work, in your profession. Okay, finish. Okay, number 2. When we are talking about apa kita kata, job or profession, of course we have to follow the path of the prophets, because Allah said in the Holy Quran, أولئك الذين هداهم الله فبهداهم مقتدي. Those are people, a group of people that been guided by Allah. So you have to follow the guidance. Those are the people that been guided by Allah. So you have to follow the guidance. You have to make them as the exemplary figure for you. And then when talking about profession and job, somehow all the prophet are a good worker. Okay, prophets were diligent workers. Okay, this hadith is very interesting hadith. One time, Abdullah ibn Abbas, the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, among the most knowledgeable companions of Rasulullah in tafsir or all-rounder in every area of Islamic studies. One day, a man came to him, and then he said, "This man, come closer to me, and I will tell you about the mentioned prophet in the book of Allah." Okay, I will tell you about Adam. He was a farmer. I will tell you about Nuh, who was a carpenter. Idris, he was a tailor. Dawood, he was a metal worker. Musa, he was a shepherd. Ibrahim, he was a farmer. And Saleh, he was a merchant. Okay, this is hadith in Mustadrak Hakim. Look into this hadith, you can see clearly that the Holy Prophet, all the prophets are the workers. And they have their own profession. They are not depending on the student or his followers to feed him. No, he altogether has had their own profession, and then they were independent for their life because of the profession, not depending on people. Okay. And then another hadith, Rasulullah said that nobody has eaten a better meal than which one has earned by working with one's own hand. Not saying that you must work using your hand. Maybe you go to the office, you are teaching. Even though you are teaching, but in the meantime, you are using your hand on of everything. That is the meaning of this ayah. You have to work because you own your own dignity. Right? You own your dignity by working, not begging people. And then also say, كان يأكل وإن نبي الله داود عليه السلام كان يأكل من عمل يده. The Prophet Dawud alayhi salam used to eat from the earnings of his manual labor, using his own hand, because he was a metal worker. And then this is another verse in Surah Sabah. Allah says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ مِنَّا فَضْلًا. Indeed, we granted David a great privilege from us, commanding all mountains, echo his chants, and the birds as well. And then Allah said, we made iron soft for him, instructing make full length armor perfectly, balancing the links. Because starting from the time of Prophet Dawud alayhi salam, people used the metal armor. Why? Because before his time, people used the wooden armor, which is very heavy, and then it's not durable during the battle. So Allah gave him this the knowledge on how to soften the metal. And then he was a metal worker, Prophet Dawud alayhi salam. Even though he was a king, he is not depending on the usury or the tax taken from his people. He is a good metal worker. He is a good metal worker. Okay, and then the next, our Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was small before he was appointed as a prophet by Allah. He said Allah did not send any prophet but shepherd sheep. His companions of Rasulullah, the companions of Rasulullah asked him, do you do the same, Ya Rasulullah? So said, yes, I use the shepherd. I used to shepherd the sheep of people of Mecca for some qirats. Qirat is the amount of money as what should we say, the salary for our Holy Prophet. But somehow, when you are the shepherd, you can learn the art of leadership. A small art of leadership. Why? Because you are the owner of the shepherd, and the shepherd, of course, in a huge number of it. So in order to control them, you must have a quality of leadership. So that is why most of the prophets were the shepherd. Why? Because Allah wanted to train them. Allah wanted to train them on how to lead people. Because somehow in the future they will become a leader. which harmed the prophethood. Musa alayhi salam. This is the story of Musa alayhi salam. Just now, I mentioned to you about the wife, the future wife of Musa alayhi salam. And then after the incident, he somehow helped the woman used to happen to be his wife in the future. And then his father-in-law somehow proposed him something. The old man proposed, I wish to marry one of these two daughters of mine to you, provided that you stay in my service for 8 years. If you complete 10, it will be a favor from you. But I do not wish to make it difficult for you. Allah willing, you will find me an agreeable man. And then Musa responded, okay, I agree with that. And then Musa said that. And then he chose to complete 10 years, even though it is not mentioned in this ayah, because Musa alayhi salam somehow was given two choices. The period of time of working, 8 or 10 years. But in tafsir, it is mentioned that Prophet Musa alayhi salam somehow completed 10 years. Completed 10 years. He worked with his father-in-law. Why? Because to settle the dowry. It is not only a mere son-in-law who sit there without working. No, Prophet Musa somehow had a dignity in himself. He worked. He worked to settle the dowry, and he worked as a means of livelihood for he and his family. So working is a honor job for every people. And then, okay, Dhul Qarnayn. Even though Dhul Qarnayn in Surah Al-Kahfi, it is mentioned, it was mentioned that he was a king, a ruler of the world. But in the meantime, he had a very good knowledge in civil engineering, because when he reached this point, this place, and then the people of that place that got and Magog, were two nation who always conducted mischief in this world. So could you please, O Dhul Qarnayn, build up for us a wall so that it will stop them from coming to our place and kill or committed mischief in this land. And then he said to them, Dhul Qarnayn responded, قال ما مكنني فيه ربي خير. What my Lord has provided for me is far better. I am the king, I am rich, I had everything almost. But in order to help you, okay, don't have to pay for me any tax or any salary or any wages for me to build the wall to stop them. But you should help me. فَأَعِينُونِي بِقُوَّةٍ. But assist me with resources, and I will be a barrier between you and them. And then after that, Dhul Qarnayn somehow asked them to bring the blocks of iron. Then when he had filled up the gap between the two mountains to stop Ya'juj and Ma'juj, he ordered, blow with fire from the bottom part of the building. And then when the iron became red hot, and then he asked his people, okay, bring me a molten copper to pour over it, and so that the enemies could neither scale or nor tunnel through it. And then, even though it is a story thousands of years ago, but it somehow showed to us that Dhul Qarnayn is not a mere king. He had a knowledge. He had a knowledge to rule people, and he was a master of civil engineering, because he used the iron to stop Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Because if you learn about you learn in tafsir, you will find the story, a very interesting story. How he built a strong mountain, a mixture of iron and copper. If I'm not mistaken, become alloy. The most kita kata strong, one of the most strong metal ever created. So there was a civil engineering. He had this knowledge. Okay, finish. Content number 3. Okay, Islam somehow recognizes various professions. Okay, before we continue, before we proceed, first we have to know, during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the companions consist of two main groups. The first one, the original people of apa kita kata Madinah, mostly they were famous. Mostly they were famous because Madinah is a very kita kata apa? A very good place to find dates. However, Muhajirun, the people of Mecca who migrated to Medina, mostly because in Mecca there was no, not the agriculture country or state. Mecca is a trading state because people from all over the world came to Mecca to offer their products. So that is why, by nature, the people of Ansar, the people of Medina, mostly they were farmers, and Muhajirun, mostly they were traders. So this is the basic info that you need to know, because we are focusing on these two, because the time constraint for tonight. So I focus only on agriculture and trading. Okay. Before that, let us listen to this story. Abu Abdurrahman bin Auf, he was a great trader, okay, because he was the people of Mecca. In Mecca, he was a billionaire, a very rich person. Because of the Hijrah, because of Islam, he left everything, zero. And in Medina, he started from zero, okay? Abdurrahman bin Auf said that when we came to Medina as immigrants, Rasulullah established a bond of brotherhood between me and Sa'id ibn al-Rabi, a rich man from Medina. Sa'id ibn Rabi said to me, I am the richest among the Ansar, so I'll give you half of my wealth. Bagi separuh tu. And you may look at my two wives, and whichever of two you may choose, I will divorce her. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. And when she has completed the prescribed period before marriage, iddah, completed his iddah, you may marry her. And then Abdurrahman, this is a very good man, to show the good akhlaq. You are not taking advantage of people, the kindness of people. Because some people, if someone is so kind with him, he takes the advantage on the people. No. I like this character because you have to gain your own. Do not rely or depend on people. Because in Arabic poem, it is mentioned that الرجل من هو الرجل؟ dia kata الرجل الذي قال ها أنا ذا. What is the difference between a man and not a man? A man will say that this is what I gain or acquire with my own hand, with my own will, not depending on my father or my mother, not inheriting something from my father or my mother. When I learned that, when I was in back in 97, in my class Islamic history, Dr. Zaki, and then he mentioned in class, you have to be a real man. How do you be a real man? Remember this Arabic poetry, dia kata. الرجل هو الذي قال ها أنا ذا ولا ها أنا أمي وأبي. Gitulah lebih kurang. Dia kata lelaki jantan sebenar adalah yang berkata ini yang aku cari, bukan ini yang aku dapat pada mak atau ayah. Okay, starting from that point, there was my kita kata principle in life. And then Abdurrahman said, no, I am not in need of all that. Is there any marketplace where trade is practiced? And then Sa'id replied, at the market of Qaynuqa. Abdurrahman went to the market the following day and brought some dried buttermilk. Kita kata macam apa? Yogurt lah. Yogurt kering, and butter. And then he continued going there regularly until he got a lot of money. Few days later, Abdurrahman came to Rasulullah having traces of yellow sand on his body. Macam ada inai lah. Rasulullah then noticed that, asked him whether he had got married, and then he replied, yes. And then, whom have you married? A woman from Ansar. And Rasulullah asked, how much did you pay her? He replied, I gave her a gold piece equal to, in weight, to a dead stone. Maksud emas ketul, biji kurma. Mahal tu. And then Rasulullah said that you have to make a wedding banquet. buat kenduri sikit lah. Okay, this is to tell us that if I said earlier, Muhajirun as a trader, Ansar farmers. So it can be seen clearly in the ability of Abdurrahman bin Auf to start from zero, and then he got to get married, giving the dowry to his wife with the amount of gold in way of small bits. Can you imagine? Banyak duit tu. And then I read somewhere, Abdurrahman bin Auf, he possessed nearly 13 red camels. 13 red camels, 13, 13. Red camels are very expensive camel. Nearly 1 million, if I'm not mistaken, 1 million. A very good quality camel, high in price, nearly 1 million. Abdurrahman bin Auf himself, he had 13. Can you imagine his asset? Nak cerita dia pandai niaga lah ni. Okay. Number one, earning through agriculture, because Allah, Islam recognized somehow many kind of profession. And then number one, earning through agriculture, because if you go through the Quranic verses, you will find many Quranic verses talking about agriculture, because agriculture is one of the most important thing for human being. Why? Because you are eating, you must consume food. Mostly the food comes from agriculture. Regardless you are the Arab or the Malays, you have to eat somewhere. You have to eat something which is originated from the soil, from the agriculture. Padi ke, beras ke, food, anything. Bread or the rice, it is taken from the agriculture industry. So that is why one time, a few years back, Malaysia, we have this crisis on food security. Why? Because long time ago, Malaysia used to be the agriculture country. And then our Prime Minister, Dr. Mahathir, during the time, he somehow changed the focus. Agriculture become minority, and then the major focus of the country, of the government, is on industry. And then somehow, if you want to maintain the policy to become a industrial country, you shouldn't put away or ignore the agriculture, because you always need food, and of course food comes from the agriculture. Okay. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned a few hadith. Among which, tengok hadis ni bagus. Dia kata, there is not amongst the Muslim who plants a tree or sow seeds, and then a bird or a person or animal eats from it, but is regarded as a charitable gift for him, provided that you are okay with that. Jangan marah lah, kena redha. Kena redha. And then number two, Rasulullah said, إن قامت على أحدكم القيامة وفي يده فسلة فليغرسها. Even if the resurrection were established upon one of them, or one of you, while he was in his hand a sapling, maksud benih, let him plant it. If you think logically, what is the purpose of planting the seed, planting the plant, while the world is about to end in Qiyamah, no more? But Rasulullah somehow used his metaphor to show us that the importance of planting crops, because if you are planting something, maybe you can benefit from it, or you cannot benefit from it, but other creatures can take a benefit from the plant you planted. At least oxygen. The plant will provide oxygen for you. If you think deeper, what is the purpose of you planting trees or crops? I would like to give my charity of oxygen to the people. Can you imagine? And then in another ayah in Surah Al-Isra, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that all the creatures were supplicating or glorifying Allah, or making tasbih to Allah. if you plant crops or trees, you are multiplying, you are increasing the number of tasbih from the creatures, particularly the trees, the plants. You grow, you plant, making tasbih to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are making tasbih, they are glorifying Allah, they are producing oxygen to other people, other creatures. Can you imagine the reward you will gain because of that? Agriculture. And then Islam somehow teaches ethic in agriculture. You had abundance of rizqi or provisions from the agriculture, but it is not yours totally. It is not yours totally. You must give the harvest of your trees to other people in terms of zakah. So that's why Allah said here, كلوا من ثمره إذا أثمر وآتوا حقه يوم حصاده ولا تسرفوا. Eat out of the fruit they bear and pay the dues at harvest. Pay the dues, pay the zakah. So if you learn about zakah, if you plant a crop in a huge number, then you have to pay the zakah. You have to give it to certain on certain with certain portion to other people, because it's because it is part of the obligation as a Muslim. So it is not about earning your provision through agriculture alone, but Islam teaches the ethic in your agriculture activities. There is other people's right on it in terms of sadaqah and zakat. Okay. And then second, earning through trading. If you are talking, if you're referring to the Holy Quran, trading in the Holy Quran, mostly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use the term of ibtigha'a min fadlillah, seeking the bounty of Allah. Seeking the bounty of Allah. For example, this ayah, the very last ayah of Surah Muzammil, Allah said here, علم أن سيكون منكم مرضى. He knows that some of you will be sick. This is about waking up in the middle of the night to offer night prayer, because in the beginning of Islam, when Rasulullah and Muslim in Mecca, they were only performing 2 times prayer, morning and evening, and then the additional prayer is the night prayer. Okay, from the in the beginning of Islam in Mecca, they were somehow commanded by Allah or asked by Allah to perform night prayer. They went to bed, and then about in the middle of the night they have to wake up and then perform the night prayer on a certain portion of time, period of time. For example, 1/3 of the night, 2/3 of the night, and then after that it become very hard for Muslim during that time to comply with this order, the commandment of Allah to perform night prayer constantly, because Allah say, I know, He knows that some of you will be sick, so he or she or they couldn't perform the night prayer. And then وَآخَرُونَ, and some will be traveling throughout the land seeking Allah's bounty. During some people are making a journey for the trip journey to Sham. So during the journey in the trip, they were very tired. They could not perform 1/3 or 2/3 of night prayer as prescribed by Allah. So because of that, Allah make it easier for Muslim. So the order, the commandment for them as an obligatory prayer to perform the night prayer is lifted. We call it nasikh mansukh, diangkat oleh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the main point is that Allah somehow acknowledged وَآخَرُونَ يَضْرِبُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ يَبْتَغُونَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ, seeking the bounties of Allah through trading. And then even when talking about the usage of boats, Allah said here, see, dia kata وَتَرَى الْفُلْكَ فِيهِ مَوَاخِرَ لِتَبْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِهِ, and you see the ships plowing, they went through both the land and the sea, so you may seek His bounty and give thanks to Him. لِتَبْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِهِ, because previously, before the advancement of aviation technology, kapal terbang ni, people used to use sea through the ships to transfer or to make a trading activities from all over the place. For example, if you are from Europe, you came to Malacca in Malaysia during that time, bringing your goods, which is not here. In return, you can take goods from here, which is not there. So, but we can say that trading, okay, even trading in ibadah, it is allowed. Okay, this ayah is about performing hajj. Performing hajj. Why? Because if you go to hajj, for example, in the past, while people doing the waqaf in wukuf in Arafah, or they are stoning the shaitan in the jamarat, so maybe they were thirsty. So is it okay for some people to open, to sell to them the water? Is it okay or not? And because of that, Allah said, "Laysa alaykum junah." There is no blame for on you for seeking the bounties of your life during the genie of Hajj. For example, if you have two bottles, and then your member doing Hajj with you was very thirsty, is very thirsty, and he need the water, and he offer you with certain price. Can you sell it to him? No problem with that. You can do the trading even if you are doing your ibadah, your Hajj. Okay. And then in this hadith, Rasulullah put the honest trader in paradise. An honest, trustworthy merchant will be with the Prophet, the truth, and the martyrs. And then number 3, earning through salary employment. Ini makan gaji lah, makan gaji. Makan gaji, it can be anybody, anything, but you have to comply lah with the job given to you. Because one time Abu Dhar al-Ghifari asked Rasulullah, will you not appoint me to a public office? And then Rasulullah said that, Abu Dhar, you are weak, not meaning by physically weak, no. You are weak in holding responsibility in a wise way, because Abu Dhar was well known for his zuhud. He is very strict, zuhud sangat. Jadi kalau dia pegang jawatan-jawatan tertentu, dia akan menyusahkan orang bawahan dengan cara zuhud itu. And then Rasulullah said, an authority is a trust, and on the day of judgment, it is a cause of humiliation and repentance, except for one who fulfills his obligation. Meaning by that, it is okay for you if you are not doing agriculture or trading. You can makan gaji, earning through salary employment. Mostly people from this part. So it is okay for you, provided that you have to be trustworthy. You have to fulfill the amana, the obligations given to you by the employer, regardless the employer is the private or the government bodies. Okay, the last one. Okay, the last one, profession condemned by Islam. Profession condemned by Islam. Okay, give me 2 minutes. I need to go out to have something. Sekejap, Irfan. Dua minit lanjut. Okay, continue. The last one, provisions condemned by Islam. And of course, the first one, prostitution. Prostitution. And can you imagine there was a story about prostitution, a forced prostitution in Al-Quran, Surah An-Nur. Okay, Allah said, do not force your slave girls into prostitution for your own worldly gains when they wish to remain chaste. If someone force them, then after such a force, Allah is certainly all forgiving, most merciful. Okay, this is a story about Abdullah bin Ubay. Abdullah bin Ubay, the leader of the hypocrites in Medina. Not only him, even in the past, during the Jahiliyyah time, a man, they have many female slaves or slave girls, and somehow they force them to into prostitution. Why? Because after the slave girls came back, they will collect the money. Bapa ayam lah, bapa ayam. And then after the migration of Rasulullah and people of Medina mostly embrace Islam, they were happy with Islam, but Abdullah bin Ubay kept forcing his slave girls into prostitution. And then the slave girls went to see Rasulullah or told Rasulullah about the issue. Because of that, Allah revealed this ayah correcting Abdullah bin Ubay. You shouldn't force your slave girl into prostitution. No. Okay, that is the first one. And then number two, dancing, other erotic arts, because some people, they like to dance. They go to the academy, dancing academy. And then after that, they become a professional dancer, a woman professional dancer, female professional dancer. No, not good. Because when you are dancing, you are somehow exposing yourself or luring, seducing people to you, which will end with the adultery. So that is why dancing and other erotic acts is prohibited or condemned by Islam. Kena jaga. Budak kecil tak apalah, tapi dah tua-tua ni tak boleh lah. And then number three, making statues or crafting living creatures. One day, Abdullah ibn Abu was visited by one man, and then he said, I earn my living with my own hands. I make these figures. I shall tell you, said Ibn Abbas, only what I heard from Allah's messengers, Rasulullah. I heard him say, Allah will punish anyone who make figures until he breathes, or until he blow the spirit into them, masuk bagi nafas, which he can never do. Seeing the man extremely upset, Abdullah ibn Abbas said, what troubles you if you must make a figure using your talent with your own hand, then make them of trees or of something which has no soul. Actually, we learned about this before in the previous session. Okay, as for drawing, painting, or photography, it was stated previously in our last session. They are either permitted or it was disapproved, depending on what comes closest to the spirit of Islamic legislation. Of course, as was explained earlier, the subject matter, drawing, painting, photography, should not be sexually provocative, or should not be of someone sacred or respected, such as the angels and the prophet. We cannot draw or imagine the face of angels of prophet. Tak boleh. Tapi kalau lukis memang biasa okey. Manufacturing intoxicants and drugs. Okay, actually this is my my article early this year. Do you still remember KK Mat? KK Mat, people found ini KK Mat stocking, written kalimah Allah. And then because of that, people all over the nation boycott KK Mat. Because of the shop written kalimah Allah, it is unintentionally, never mind. During that time, I went into 99 speed mat. Giant ke 99 speed mat. Giant is quite okay. Why? Because they have this unhalal, kita kata wines specific counter operated by non-Muslim. But 99 speed mat ni kurang hajar sikit. 99 speed mat, Muslim worker working at the section, unggah bawa masuk tong-tong arak, botol arak, and then operating from the counter, selling wine to people. One time I went to 99 speed mat. I saw at the counter a Muslim worker, pakai tudung, wearing hijab. And then I asked him, looking to the refrigerator, I can imagine that you are responsible by your boss to sell wines. Is it? Okay, is it right? And then he just smiled. She just smiled. Yes. And then I said, do you know that Rasulullah or Islam prohibited that? And then this lady said to me, angrily, Cik, you should talk to my boss lah. You shouldn't lecture me. And then saya tak puas hati. Saya tak puas hati. After that, I contacted a few men from the masjid nearby in Sri Gombak, and then asked them to do something. And then after that, I wrote this article. I said that stalking kalimah Allah tu kita marah dah. Tetapi mungkin satu kesilapan. But it is clearly dekat kita kata 7-Eleven ke 99 clearly juara. Kenapa kita tak bising? Tak ada buat campaign besar-besaran. You know, after I wrote this article, published in Tusa Malaysia, I contacted my connection, my friend. I said to them, make it public. This is our fight because we have to assist, we have to help our Muslim worker who been forced to work in this kita kata premises, who publicly clearly sell the wine. They should respect us. Lepas tu saya biasalah, orang Melayu ni tak kena atas hidung dia tak kalut. Lepas tu saya baru pindah ke Melawati ni. Lepas tu saya masuk 99 Melawati, ada juga juara. And then I reshare back my article here. Saya hantar ke surau, grup, lepas tu saya minta hantar ke grup masjid. And then saya kata kita civil society in Malawati, we have to do something, use our power, our consumption power ni. Saya kata KRT dengan masjid, pengurusan masjid kena pergi jumpa the owner of 99 Speed Mart ke semua premisi yang juara ni yang melibatkan pekerja Muslim. Saya kata bagi warning kepada mereka, you should stop selling wine publicly. If you still want to sell wine, you must make sure that you shouldn't involve the Muslim worker. Sepatut kena buat macam tu. Tapi sebab saya ni bukan selebriti, sebab saya ni bukan orang politik, cadangan saya ke grup surau dan masjid wasted, orang tak peduli. Cubalah saya ni anak yang di Pertuan Agong ke, ataupun saya ni anak PMX ke, saya buat kempen ni tak habis saya bercakap orang kali tu orang buat tindakan. Ini kata double standard ni. Sorry lah, emotional sikit. Tapi itulah hakikatnya. When I was in Selayang, few years back, saya duduk Selayang sebelum pindah ke Melawati ni. When I was in Selayang, 99 Speed Mart was about to open a new branch there. Bandar Baru Selayang Fasa 2B. And then KRT and the surau, AJK surau, they came together. They went to see the owner of that premise, new branch of 99, and they warned them, you want to open your premise here, we are okay, we'll support you, provided that you shouldn't sell wine. If you sell wine, we boycott. Cina toke premise tu takut tak jual. Alhamdulillah sampai sekarang. You know, you should use your power because we are Muslim. This is our Muslim, our Islamic country. You have to use that. Tapi itulah sebab saya ni bukan anak raja. Saya bukan anak orang politik. Orang tak peduli dengan cadangan kita. So somehow kita kena ada kuasa politik lah. Kita kena ada kuasa politik. Kita kena ada popularity somehow. Kadang-kadang somehow you must have the political power. You must have the popularity at certain level. Why? Because if you say something, people will do something, follow you. Ini kata kehidupan pada zaman ni lah. Sehingga bila saya post tu, tak ada siapa pun peduli. Masa tu saya macam berdoa kepada Allah. Saya kata, ya Allah, bagilah aku sesuatu kuasa supaya aku boleh ubah benda ni. Lepas tu starting from that point, saya boycott 99. Kat mana ada jual aku secara public. Okay, never mind. Finish. And then, ni nak habis ni. We are about to finish ya. General reminders in work-related issues. Number one, we should avoid fraud. Allah said, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ. Woe, a curse of Allah to Allah's curse to the defrauders, or those that deal in fraud, those who take full measure when they buy from people or when they take their salary from the employer, but give less when they measure or wait for buyers, or whenever you want to give your job to your employer, you give it less. For example, it is widely used, what it is happened today. In contract with your employer, you should work 8 hours per day. But you are not fulfilling 8 hours. Ada je yang curi. 7 hours, 7.5 hours. The rest you are cheating your employees. But during the day of salary, you ask them must be on time in salary. Ini super ni, the principle. You have to be careful. And then next, ni about kata unfaithful dealing, or we call it ghulul. Rasulullah say, when we appoint someone to an administrative post and provide him with an allowance, anything he takes beyond that is unfaithful dealing or ghulul. Okay, for example, I have a friend. He is the advisor, ustaz in his school, and headmaster call him, say to him, ustaz, we want to make a educational camp for the student of UPSR standard 6 as a preparation for the final exam. So ustaz, you should find, I assign you to find a mini resort chalet to conduct the program. And then he did everything, finished, and then the school paid the resort for the activities. And then after a week, the owner of the resort called him and gave him 300. Why? Because it says, this is your commission. Okay, this is your commission. Why? Because you helped me. That 300 was haram. And then how to make it legal? He should return back to the school. Banyaklah contoh macam ni, banyak contoh macam ni. Duit atas angin. Mostly people with power. For example, you are the headmasters of the school, and then supplier send something or sell something. You pay everything. After the dealing is finished, the supplier give you money, 500, 300. Why? Because of commission. This is your part, your commission, because you help us. No, there was haram. Why? Because you've been paid by the government for your post, for your job description. So that is why we have to be careful with that. And then people ask tips from customer. Now, for example, you are working in the restaurant. You give a good service to the customers, and the customer is happy with you, and then he put the tips on the table. Is it allowed or become part of this hadith? What do you think? Okay, to make it simple, it depends on the employer. If your employer said, if your boss said that, okay, tips is allowed, you can take it. But if the boss said clearly, or the company said clearly, you have been paid with certain salary for your job description, you shouldn't take any tips. So you shouldn't take tips, or else it become haram. It become haram. You have to be careful. Depend on your employer. Okay, Allah Alam. Enough for today. Alhamdulillah. We stop there. Kau ni? Pukul 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Okay, Irfan. Anything? Kalau tak ada soalan lagi bagus, saya boleh.
Thank you, Ustaz. Also, for the audience, is there any question? Yes, there's any question? If doesn't have, I have a question. I want to ask you about your opinion. Because you talk about avoid begging. So this issue it's a bit controversial, where we saw that many orphanage home or like I can say as madrasah, they ask for money from people we can see it at the at pasar-pasar begging for money, and they say it is for the madrasah or for the orphanage. So for you, in your point of view, what do you think about that? Is it permissible?
Okay, if you are talking about from Sharia point of view, from Quranic or Hadith, prophetic Hadith point of view, you just give him the the charity, your charity, no issues, because if we the people who ask for the assistance, financial assistance at every place, if he or she is a scammers, no issues, because the moment you give charity, Allah give you reward. What been used by them after that to scam people to buy not meant for tahfiz or sekolah-sekolah tahfiz is not your problem. If you are talking about using hadith, because the moment you give charity, Allah will reward you. Ada hadith, ada hadith. Okay, the next issue is that in terms of the management, we should be very wise when we are giving charity, because of course we if you want to give charity, you want to make it to give it to the genuine body, genuine charity, not the scam, not the scammers. So because of that, we need to build up the system. At least mentally you should be ready. If someone asks charity via Facebook ke mana-mana tepi jalan ke, check first. On my part, I check first. Because I want to make sure that this money goes to the right person and used for the right cause. So that is why, because so many scammers, pejabat agama, religious authority, they prohibit somehow money collecting unless they have a special permission from the religious authority, which is for me very good. Why? Because we are living in this world of kita kata fitnah. Even Mufti of Perlis, Dr. Asri previously, he proposed that. Originally, we should offers or offers the haram logo, not halal. He said, because everything in general is halal. The haram is only a few restricted items sahaja, only in Islam. Some people agree with him, but some people disagree. Why? Because yes, we know al-aslu fi al-ashya al-ibaha. The general ruling and the maxim is that general rulings in Islam, everything related to muamalat halal, except we have certain proof that it is haram. But we are now living in this world, ketika kata apa? Dunia yang penuh penipuan. So we need a special system. So that is why we develop the halal standard ni. Why? Because we want to apa kita kata, close the floodgate. So that is why we develop a halal standard to ensure that Muslim in Malaysia or all over the place really have the halal food. Similarly applies to the charity, sedekah. Kalau kita main bagi, tak ada sistem, semua akan minta sedekah belaka, which is tak bagus lah. Tak bagus. Allah Alam.
Thank you, Ustaz, for the explanation. So for the audience, is there any question to Ustaz? If not, perhaps my question is the last question for our session. So before we disperse, as usual, we want to take picture. So anyone who want to take picture can open their camera, and I will count to 3, and someone will take the picture. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3, and last one. The last one. Okay, I see many people open their camera. Okay, the last one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you, Stas, for this last online session. So we will meet again next month for the face-to-face session, and everything we will update to Ustaz, and for the audience and participants also. we will update to you about our face-to-face session, which we will do it at KICT building, and yeah, anything we will update in WhatsApp group. So thank you all. Thank you so much. Jazakallahu khairan.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you, Seth.
اللهم أعني على ذكرك وشكرك